Hey, Stefan.
Hi, Colin. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? It's been a minute.
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Hey, folks. Thanks for joining. We're going to give it a few minutes and let people trickle in. Hey, Steve. Good to see you. Roshi.
How's it going?
Everybody. It's going okay. You've been all over on the LinkedIn's lately.
Yeah, I was literally just in the Zoom call as well until thankfully someone else turned up and told me to come over here.
That's great. Yeah, I know Cube crashes today as well, so I don't want to take everybody away from that. Right, let's jump over. So we're having an issue with the meeting notes. It looks like the original owner of the doc, that document has been running for several years. And so we're not actually sure who owns it behind the scenes. So we're gonna have to start a new one anyway with the community notes, but we're tracking that down. So I don't have the notes doc this morning where we would typically put our attendance and everything else. I'll just start one to have and share it just in case. So let me. All right, let's share some screens. Let's make sure that this can be used by anyone. All right, I pasted a link into chat. So the typical format would be go ahead and add your name to the document if you can. Don't worry about company and other things there unless you feel it's relevant. And I'll get the agenda in here as well. And we'll kick things off. The agenda today is pretty straightforward. We don't have a guest speaker, but we should for the next events as well. But I'm going to walk us through some community updates. So that's KubeCon, as well as LFX and the new platform. And we'll look at some things there. I'm going to help folks go ahead and sign up for the new group page. And then the main topic that we'd like to go through is trying to drive and get some feedback, hopefully maybe as a group for the platform engineering maturity model. We need to drive additional responses. So I think that walking through the survey or the assessment itself and going ahead and filling out some thoughts and things behind the scenes and helping people with that using the Google form would be helpful to the initiative, but also familiarize folks so that they can share this out and try to get some additional feedback for the benefit of us all. Does anybody have any other topics that they'd like to throw out there to discuss? If so, feel free to just add them to this document. I'm going to paste that again since some folks have been popping in and out. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab some links that I have open in the background. Before we jump in, is anybody new that would like to intro themselves? Give us a couple seconds and tell us about you and why you're here. I see some new faces.
Yeah, just want to. Okay. Hey everyone, my name is Pratesh. I'm from India. I recently joined Harness company, and I take care of Litmus Kiosk CNCF project. So I'm a community manager at Litmus Kiosk, and I'm excited about today's call. This is the first ever call I've ever joined, and I'm not pretty sure what we're gonna discuss about, but I would love to, consume whatever we discuss about. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, welcome.
Yep,
And congrats
thanks.
on the new role. Harness is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the tip on the document. I did just convert it to editable. Sorry about that. Anybody else that's new?
Yeah, hi, I'm Diana. I'm new. I'm part of the Open Telemetry project and Merge Forward. So I've been wanting to join platform engineering for a while. So finally I'm here. Thank you.
Awesome. Great to have you. Would love to get some Open Telemetry folks to do a lightning talk in the community meetings and give us some insight, especially around platform observability, right, and platform lifecycle management. That would be amazing. So happy to chat about that behind the scenes too.
Of course. Yep. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump in. So again, thanks for joining the platform community meeting. We are doing some of the final logistics to get everything sorted. We got access to LFX this past week, and so we're starting to prepare the new meeting links and information and all the things related to that. For folks that are familiar with the working with the tags and the other community groups and what LFX is, essentially CNCF has a unified platform for the event and meeting management in addition to some other things. So when you go and you join a technical advisory group or a community like a KCD or something else, you typically sign up through the CNCF platform. So community.cncf.io, I believe. It's like muscle memory now. And I'll get a link for everybody there, but the meetings are going to be published there and will automatically generate I think it's the Zoom meeting links. It's been a minute, but the new meeting information. So we've been provisionally using Google Meet. That's what you're on today. And we're going to transition off of that for the next community meetings. So that's where things will be posted. Again, if folks could add themselves to the attendance for today's meeting, that would be really helpful so we can track, who's a core contributor, who's working on things, who's showing up. It's really helpful to us. And then let me grab that link here. All right. So the way that you'll get to the page to sign up, I pasted a link in the chat. Visit community.cncf.io and you'll see the community groups page. You'll see a sign up button or a login button. I'm currently not signed in, so I can show you the process. If you visit chapters, and I'll wait for folks if people are following along, visit the chapters link at the top of the page. Following that, there will be under Discover Community Groups, there's a link for, or a filter for technical community groups. And then you'll find the platform engineering technical community. Now there you should see, it's shoved over to the side. We have a technical ticket in, I think our name is too long, but you'll see a join button here on the right side. So we've got 10 members here rebooted. So if you click that link, it'll ask you to create an account for the LFX platform or sign in with a form of single sign-on. So I'm going to use mine here. All right, so here it shows that I have joined. You may need to click that link again after sign on, but after that, you should be subscribed now, and you'll receive invitations to the events as they're published. And also, when you do join the meetings going forward, it's going to ask you to sign in as well to get the meeting link generated, but really easy there. Let's see. And Katie, I see you're on the call, but you're not listed yet on the organizers, so hopefully that will get knocked out here shortly.
Yeah, I messaged Audra, so I should be on there soon.
Awesome. Sounds good. Did you want to intro yourself at all, Katie? I don't want to put you on the
Yeah.
spot.
No problem. I'm not going to come off of video, but I'll introduce myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Greenlee. I have been in the cloud native space for many years. Since the beginning of the foundation, I used to work for the CNCF, and I recently moved over to work for Chronosphere. The community has been near and dear to my heart. I now support the FluentBit community and all the OTel community and all things observability, and I'm looking forward to being part of this group and helping to support all the initiatives and moving it forward.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie. We're definitely excited to have you. All right, let's jump into some of the community updates as folks sign up for that. So again, chapters, technical community groups, platform engineering technical community, join. Easy peasy. Some of the updates. So we just went through the LFX updates. KubeCon, we have a number of things that are planned for KubeCon. We're moving forward with the platform coffee that we typically do. We'll have more information about that. Chris has been working behind the scenes to determine what the location will be, and he's getting support from the KubeCon event coordinators and staff as well for that. We're trying to find something that's as close to on-site as possible, and there are a few options there that we're evaluating. But we are planning on doing the platform coffees. It's always a huge success. Aside from that, we do have a booth, and a tool is working on determining what the booth details will be, if we're able to do lightning talks again this year or not. We may encourage folks in lieu of lightning talks to submit talks for the community stage, which will be right next to our booth. But we'll be coming out with more information about that as we prepare for KubeCon as well. The big release that we want to do at KubeCon, and that we'll discuss next, is the platform engineering maturity model assessment. And so we're really hoping that we can drive and push for some feedback from the broader industry on that assessment so that we can adapt some things, improve some things, and really go into KubeCon with a strong release. So that'll be our next topic there. Does anyone have any questions or comments related to the community logistics and or KubeCon? Very cool. And I am being conscious of time because I know folks do want to get back to KubeCrash. I want to encourage folks, if you have come over here from KubeCrash, or if you don't know what KubeCrash is, so it's a one-day, KubeCrash is a one-day event for platform engineering talks, and that's going on right now, and registration is free. So visit kubecrash.io to check that out and see what talks are available. All right. Again, if you have a discussion topic you want to plug on, feel free to add it to this list in the document. But otherwise, let's jump in. So Steve put together a blog on the website, which is cloudnativeplatforms.com. And then blog. And this is navigating platform engineering with the maturity model assessment. I'd encourage folks to read through the background information here. It was presented in some of the last community talks as well. But I want to just go ahead and skip through and jump into the assessment links. This is a great page that you can share to help folks understand how to provide feedback. The key thing that we would emphasize is a lot of people are taking the assessment, but not necessarily following through and providing feedback via the Google form. So I'm hoping we can do some of that today. You may want to submit feedback again at another time if you have a chance to go through it with your company and things there, but even personal feedback will be helpful to the team. So there are 2 links here. You can help by trying the assessment and then the giving us feedback. So there are 2 separate pages there. One is the assessment itself here, and I'll walk through some tips for that. And then the other is the giving us feedback, which is a really simple Google form that we can fill out to provide some feedback. Now, one thing I'd emphasize that's optional, but also very helpful is it says here that you can share your assessment link. What that means is on the assessment itself, as you select items and make changes, you'll see that the URL parameters are updated at the top. That makes it possible to, on client side, share your survey with others or share your survey results with others. And so all you would have to do to share the results that you had, there's no private information or anything gathered here. It's just your results. Just copy that URL and paste it into the share your assessment link. But what I'm hoping we can do is maybe run through these questions individually really quick and just kind of discuss some of them briefly, and then maybe give people a few minutes of quiet to go run through this on their own. Does that sound okay to folks? It's a little bit more interactive. It's not a typical guest speaker thing, but I think it'll be helpful. So I'm going to reset that here. And Steve, I know you're embedded in this. If you want to take over and drive, I'm totally okay with it. Otherwise, I can continue to plug on it.
You're doing a great job.
Okay, cool. And just for the room, feel free, raise your hand if you want to ask a question or talk about something, or interject. I'm okay with that as well. Really easy to use the button down at the bottom and raise your hand like I just did there. But let's go ahead and plug through some of this. Reminder, this is recorded, and we'll be putting this up on the YouTube channel along with the previous meetings as well, which are currently just unlisted while we were figuring out the extra logistics. But just keep that in mind as you share information. You might not want to share in-depth information about your company or things there. These are your personal thoughts today. All right. So the first section here is around investment. Each section is going to focus on the different aspects of the maturity model. As we fill these out, results will be generated down at the bottom dynamically, and we'll go through those as well. So the first question here is who builds your platform? Whether ad hoc groups, maybe a dedicated platform team, maybe a product-focused team, or even a full specialist team. If you have trouble picking in between some of the two, I'd say go ahead and fall back on the lesser of the two, if that makes sense. Stefan? Oh, you're muted, by the way.
Oops, sorry. Yeah. I actually had some feedback ready, so I haven't sent it, so then I will do it now. Here, I thought that maybe we can put teams in plural as well, because I'm sure that from a specific scale, from some scale, it will be several teams that are involved with the platform. And I think it doesn't change much here, right? As long as they cooperate.
Sure, I think that's relevant.
For the investment, yeah. So if you, I was actually thinking about doing a PR. So if you want, I can do it that way as well.
Yeah, I think that would be great. An issue or a PR would be amazing. That's a good point. The repository URL I'll post as well. So our GitHub organization currently, this may move back into CNCF, we will see, is Cloud Native Platform Engineering. And then the repository for this, which is public, is the PEMM assessment. And so I'll place that in here as well. There is some ongoing work for localization. So submitting some translation may be a great way to contribute to this as well. All right, I'm just going to pick some options here. So if there's no questions on the first, other questions or comments on the first section, I'll keep rolling. So again, this is meant to be light, fast. It's not something you should think too deeply about, right? We're just trying to get a high level picture. The analysis and self-analysis comes later, right? So next question is, where do platform capability needs come from? I don't want to spend too much time explaining the questions because then that will lead the feedback. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a suggestion for the entire form because I just looked at it earlier and completed it. Some of the questions and the answers are straightforward or let's say intuitive, but with some of them I had like issues, you know, thinking about some concrete scenarios. So I was thinking maybe would it be possible to add like a mock scenario, let's say company X, with some platforms that completes this scenario and how you know those answers would fit in, because it's my first time that I'm using this, I'm completing this, and I was trying to like find the right examples for my company, and then I wasn't sure like if I should go for one answer or another one. So any, let's say, like guidelines in that sense, I think will help tremendously.
I think that's really great feedback. Corbin, you're on the call as well. I don't want to keep you hidden, but feel free to interject if you've got some responses to any of these suggestions. I really appreciate that though, Diana. I know that we want to make sure that this thing, when it's released, has all of that information and intentionally doesn't have some of that extra stuff just at the current state today so that we can elicit some of that suggestion. So I think that's really great. Let's see. The next one as we roll, and feel free to jump ahead of me. I'll go a little bit faster because I don't want to use, Corbin can't use his mic. That's okay, Corbin. I don't want to use up all of our time going through this. I think it'll generate some discussion anyway. So the next one is, how do you validate new capabilities with platform users? So no involvement, informal feedback, co-creation, full partnership. I have seen just about every variation of this, even at companies that you would think are very mature. So I like this question. This one as well. How is your platform initiative funded? This is true financial aspect of this. Resources, investment. The next section is adoption. Corbin's feedback, Diana, is that those examples are in the maturity model itself. So it's recommended that folks are familiar with the maturity model and use it for reference. I definitely I agree that maybe there's some link back and some things that can do too, but just surfacing that for you. I think you've seen the maturity model before, probably. Let's see. Maybe you're muted. Is there a link? Let's see, Corbin, if you can type it, I'm curious on a feedback front. If we should we link back to the maturity model, or do we want people to? Do we not want to distract maybe or pull them away? We want to encourage them to take the feedback, so you don't want to just link back to other resources. I'm looking at chat. Steve says we could work out how to cross-reference the maturity model, maybe some open link in new window opportunities. I think that sounds good. Maybe a link back to the particular aspect or section. The challenge is, I guess maybe the first time people take it, it might take a little longer if they're not familiar with the maturity model. But yeah, how do we keep them focused so that the goal is to complete this questionnaire and not, just go back to the maturity model. How do platform users select tools? Stefan?
Yeah, so here I think there is a common case that could be put in, which is the platform is compulsory or nearly compulsory, which I would put at, if I understand the maturity model correctly, that would be 2 as well.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you.
I can make a proposal how to word it in the PR.
100%. That would be great. How does your organization encourage platform use? Does it? A lot don't yet.
Yeah, and here, same comment.
Yeah.
You have to use it.
Right. How does the platform encourage adoption is the next one. I think I'll go a little faster so we can get to discussion. Next is interfaces, so use of the platform. How do users access platform capabilities? Does the platform team consider developer experience or productivity? That one seems a little open-ended to me, personally. How are capabilities offered to end users? How is onboarding supported? And then into the operations aspect. How do users find out about platform updates? How do teams request new platform features or capabilities? Put in a PR. We need new survey capabilities. How does your platform team deliver and maintain capabilities? And how is the platform's evolution managed? And then this is the final aspect, so it really hasn't taken us that long. Have you agreed how platform success will be measured? One here, Corbin, that I had for feedback, and I know you've probably thought of it because we're very like-minded there. I'm curious if there's a way to ask if the platform success or the measurables differ from how the organization measures the success or defines the success of just software products in general or internal software. I've seen sometimes platform teams get held to a different standard or no standard or a higher standard. Don't know if it's helpful. How do you measure the business outcomes of platforms? How is user feedback collected and used? And how do you collect user satisfaction with the platform? So that's it. That's the survey. And again, this is an initial, so we're trying to get feedback so that we can make those improvements and release a full version or a V1 at KubeCon. So this is how the assessment results look. Only comment for Steve and Corbin that I've had on the assessment results is just on some displays, the contrast just isn't high enough on some of the lines, maybe even some of the boxes here. It's really hard to see on some displays or in some screenshots that I've seen. So at the end, you'll see there's a convenient option to copy a shareable link. So I'm going to hit that. And then I'm going to switch over to the feedback. So this is a great place to provide some feedback here. So just 4 questions, makes it easy to assess which level of maturity you align with in the maturity model. The questions are easy to comprehend. The assessment is the right length, and the assessment is comprehensive. For the sake of the call, I'd honestly suggest at least filling out some of the responses. Even if you want to fill out a really in-depth feedback, feel free to do that, but it's just as valuable, I think, to submit even without the additional feedback if you feel like you need to sit down later and come back to this and submit a second survey result. We just need responses. So I just encourage what's the easiest path to response there to get some feedback. Your email will be included in the survey responses, so the team can use that to reach back out and get more information. I've included and pasted a link here so that I can have a copy of the responses, and then that's it. So hopefully, I'd like to give folks maybe a couple minutes of quiet to continue to run through and finish some survey responses, and then fill out and submit the Google form. And if anybody has questions, feel free to raise those to the group. But I'm hoping we can at least get 5 or 6 responses in here for the team. So we will come back. I'll come back at the 11:40 mark, if that's okay. Right now, my time is 11:35, so that's 5 minutes. one more minute, then we're going to come back. All right. And we're back. Sorry, we don't typically do this kind of quiet working session thing. It's usually all discussion. So I appreciate everyone's patience there. Anybody holding back any comments or questions? Yeah, go for it.
This can be a little different off-topic question, but the question to you is, so I just saw the CNCF GitHub link that you shared about this cloud native platform engineering one, and it is a repository with the name of CNPE community, right? And it shows that it is a fork of Tag App Delivery, and
Correct.
all the details inside of it is about Tag App Delivery, including most of the stuff. So is this something that we are working on and will be updating things gradually?
So maybe I pasted the assessment. Is this the right? Okay, so that's a little different. So originally, the long story short is that originally the platforms working group was a subgroup of Tag App Delivery. So
Okay.
the artifacts like the maturity model and the platform's white paper were underneath Tag App Delivery. When Tag App Delivery was paused during the restructure, the technical advisory group restructure starting at KubeCon in Salt Lake City. So last year, that they archived the repository and paused the repository, but they didn't have guidance yet for the CNCF didn't have guidance yet for the technical community group structures. So we've been continuing the work in a separate repository outside of the CNCF while the technical community group guidelines were completed and the conversion and application for changing from the platform's working group underneath Tag App Delivery over to a standalone the technical community group, right? We were continuing the work until that was completed. So that was just completed. So it isn't clear yet where the repository will exist, or if there will be a consolidated repository within the CNCF for our stuff. But we'll be working to transfer those assets and those repositories. While it was a fork of Tag App Delivery, that was meant, we did that intentionally to maintain the history of the artifacts that were produced. So as we continue to move forward and begin starting initiatives for updates to the maturity model and everything else, we wanted to make sure we didn't lose the file history for when those were initially submitted.
Understood. Thanks. That answers my question.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I think it's a great question. So that's why they're there today. We'll see if and when they get moved back. All right. Any other questions on the feedback form for everyone who's hitting the submit button? I don't actually have access to the results. Corbin and crew do, so I can't monitor that. But if you've submitted, big thanks for doing that. It's really helpful. And I'm sure we'll find a way to acknowledge the folks who responded to the survey as well and those contributions. So to move past that, and for the sake of time, does anyone have any particular platform engineering topics or questions or challenges or things they'd like to discuss with the group that's here? I mean, that's okay too. If you guys prefer, then what we can do is just give folks time back. I'd encourage everybody to go check out KubeCrash and see if there are some talks that are relevant to you. I'll continue to hang out until the top of the hour, but we can close the meeting here formally and let people hang out if they want. But I appreciate everybody for attending today, and especially those who were able to get some feedback in. So thank you guys. Next meeting will be 2 weeks from today at the usual time. Again, if you registered for the group, then you'll see the updates there. I'd encourage everyone as well to visit the LinkedIn page and give us a follow there. It gives us another way. Let's click over to this. It gives us another way to publish events and reshare material, especially the Content Club material, and highlight that stuff. And so that's linkedin.com/company/cloud native platforms. And I'll paste that as well. But yeah, thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. I hope everybody has a great rest of your Tuesday.
Yeah. Bye again. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Hey, Colin, I joined late. Can you share the link for the form that you posted?
Yeah, 100%. Let's see here. So there's a blog for it. It's the easiest way. Let me show you put my screen back up here. And good to see you, Corey. I just reposted the link, and I'll post the notes doc in here as well for you. Steve and Simon. Steve, you were first.
Yeah, I was going to do a link request as well, just for that first page to start finding the LFX place to click
Got
on. I'll stick it in the doc as well.
Yeah, it sounds good. So the way to get there is community.cncf.io. Then chapters, and then technical community groups, and then platform engineering technical community group. And then the wonky join button should just be a toggle. Simon, how you doing?
Yeah, good. First off, I really like the assessment. It's great. I really like the clarity of it. One of the things I wonder is, so the way I tend to approach surveys is to just, particularly with things like this, is not to overthink them. And because I find I can agonize and think, that group does it that way, that one does it that way, what do I do? So I wonder if it might be, worth thinking, like providing some guidance about how somebody filling out the assessment should, how you would like them to approach it, whether you'd like them to deeply consider or answer off the top of their head quite quickly. I'm not sure. That might help. I don't know if that's.
I think it's a great suggestion. I've had a lot of the similar thoughts. I think a number of others have provided feedback like that too. I think that's great. That's super helpful.
Yeah, just like it might be it might appear intimidating to people as well. So another thing too is what is sometimes, particularly people who are new to this, don't even really know what a platform is. And I know that that sounds like a really basic question, but putting also like, you have a platform, whether you know it or not, or, you know, and some of those types of statements that are in the maturity model in the platform's white paper might also help as well. I'm just thinking about how to make the barrier to filling it out less intimidating and easy for people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like we need to provide some prerequisites, maybe.
Yeah. Almost to lower it, because it might otherwise be difficult. I mean, I guess anybody filling this out is probably going to be familiar with platforms, I guess, but it's the type of art. The reason I say this is a really interesting artifact to circulate to people who might be developers within an organization, for, you know, users of a platform, or even stakeholders like business owners who don't necessarily engage with platforms in the way that we may.
Yeah, I think as I'm thinking through that too, I think it's a good point. And I know the group has thought a lot about what the 0 to 1, I think, level looks like. And I think you're calling that out pretty well. Like I'm going, I talk to groups all the time that, you know, maybe it's a DevOps group or something, and they're saying, hey, we're evaluating these tools because we're trying to do a certain thing. And it sounds a lot like platform engineering. And we ask, like, have you heard of platform engineering? Because that's where you can find a lot of this language. This is where you can find the job listing that you're, you know, trying to determine what your job title needs to be and things like that. So there's, in the survey, there's not really a, I don't know, if that makes sense. Yeah, like NA, don't know yet. Any groups, what's a platform? But I don't know if it's intended to do that, or if there's a way we should direct and say, hey, you don't know what a platform is. This isn't quite for you yet. You're at the 0 level anyway.
Sure.
As you start to think of a strategy, start to fill this out or use this from the beginning. But I think that's a good point. Steve, I'm wondering if you have any thoughts.
I was frantically typing that into the document, try and capture all of that. Yeah, I definitely think we're going to need to give people at least some signposts to help them answer that when they don't know. That's for sure. The final format of this, once we kind of feel that we've nailed it, we probably don't want to show them all the questions at once, right? Because like it is a bit overwhelming. We did it this way because we wanted people to be able to test it. So they can kind of go and adjust some answers, look at the graphs again, play around with the answers, look at the graphs again. So it's kind of designed for that kind of testing phase to make that super easy. But we probably want to present them with one question at a time. And we probably want to design each question layout so that we have what we've got here, like the actual question and the answers, but maybe like a little panel that says what we're talking about, a link to click on that takes them into the maturity model. I think that's probably what we want, something like one at a time. And then when you click the answer, maybe like this is one of those UX decisions, either when you click the answer or when you click next, it then takes you to the next question, and then you kind of repeat the process. So yeah, I think we want to surround this with a bit more information, because it's a bit harder than like the DORA 4 key assessment. It's like, how often do you deploy? Now, most people can work out how often they deploy. There's not really much ambiguity there. But some of these, when it's like, where levels of investment, some folks might be like, I don't know, I'm not close enough to that, depending on where they sit. So yeah, it could be helpful.
Yeah, part of me, the devil's advocate, oh, sorry, Corey. Devil's advocate in me almost wants to say, don't share that stuff because it will just distract people from completing the survey. But then maybe have an outlet for, yeah, I don't know, right? Or leave an empty response on a section or something and just make that 0. because people need to, I think they need to push through and fill out the survey. And that's the big problem, is you get kind of halfway through and you go on a tangent and stop. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's all valid. Yeah, go ahead, Corey. Sorry.
I lost what I was going to say.
Oh,
You're fine.
sorry.
I'm also filling it out. So like I'm listening to you and like reading questions. It doesn't help at all.
Yeah, Simon.
Yeah, I was thinking when I was filling this out, I was almost flicking between how do I perceive this, and then what do I actually know? And they're two quite different things, because in a large institution, there's a lot of different groups and platforms, and so I filled it out. In some ways, I'm a bit horrified about the answer that I submitted, because I just went like, bang, 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 bang through it, just at face value. I think the key point is that, again, isolating the aspect that you want people to approach it from, almost, because I feel like I have inside information, if that makes sense. Yeah. Just on, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh,
you.
and one other thing on the UI side, with long surveys, I sometimes lose the thread of, let's say, the general category. So it might be that as things are presented, like if we're in the investment section, as I see on the display that you're sharing, Corey, it would almost be, it's really valuable to highlight we're in investment now, investment, you know, and then adoption, that type of thing as well, that would be really helpful. Yeah. And a progress bar. Yeah. But,
Yeah, all the
Does
nice UI niceties.
yeah.
Does this auto submit?
No, it doesn't submit at all.
Oh,
So-
it's just like it. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Or just
and
like it's yours, so you don't. Yeah, when we obviously there's like there would be the curiosity says we should collect responses anonymously just to see what kind of stuff comes through. That would be kind of cool, but also like you want people to actually fill it in. So at the moment there's zero tracking on this. It doesn't submit and store anywhere. You can be honest, and no one will ever know what you said.
It's just a way to evaluate your platform and based on what. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you bring up a good point, though. It's like there's not really any finality to this. It almost makes me think, even though you're doing this all client side, it would be nice to have a like submit, calculate.
Yeah, one of the things that we talked about was not having the results on the same page as the questions. So yeah, there would be a button, and then you would get these results. Plus, longer term, like useful parts of the maturity model would pop in to say you scored low on investment. Here is some things that would get you from your kind of level 2. This is what level 3 looks like. So like trying to find different ways of surfacing the information. So yeah, I don't think this is the final form of it for sure. It's just a useful form for testing. Let me add that.
This is really cool. I sent it to my boss already.
I'm wondering, I don't know if you can actually do this. This is an old doc. I'm wondering if there's a way it might be helpful for the survey responses as well, to have like a submit my feedback or submit my results or something. But
I'm sure there's a way of making one of the fields accept like a URL value.
Yeah, like pre-populate the results link, but take them straight into the survey to like share their results.
Let me have a look.
If it's an easy lift, that could be a win, and that might feel like gives me a way to anonymously submit my results or my feedback or something, share my results and feedback. That's been for Simon and for Corey, that's been a challenge for the group, is people are using the survey, but they're not providing feedback.
Right. Is there a way to almost have like an easy opt-in to do so, or I don't know, because
I
I
think
would.
that's kind of what I was thinking, with like maybe a button for submit my results or share my feedback, and then use that to pre-populate perhaps like at least their results option, or bring them to the form.
Yeah,
which is a good point. The feedback link is maybe up here. Yeah, we should at least have it also down at the bottom.
I really want to know how I stack up against other people. Yeah.
You could share your screen if you want. The
Well,
challenge is like, you know, it's I like the chart that they chose, because it helps you see there's maybe one aspect where you're behind, but others maybe where you're ahead. But I always encourage people to choose you can't really do that in this form of, you don't necessarily want to know which one is better than others, or because that'll just sway the responses. But I encourage people usually in forms like these to choose the lesser. Like if you're not sure, choose the weaker option, if that's how it's perceived. And then that gives you something that you need to go harden, right? Because obviously if you have a question about it and you're halfway in between, then you need to either do something you're either over invested and you should be at that lesser aspect, or you're under invested and you should be at the higher aspect.
It looks like, just monkeying with it, the top answer is low. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1 is low, 4 is high, right?
I think
So you can very easily weight your responses, or but I also kind of like this, because it was first pass, I was like, oh, these are random. But now that I've kind of understood it, I was like, so like, how do you have you agreed how the platform success will be measured? And you have these 4 options. I chose broad agreement, but apparently like insight driven metrics is the right answer, right? So that gives me some like level of like, oh, that's something I should look at. If there was any way to basically, so my only feedback on the forum, sorry to steal thunder, is if there's any kind of way, like with the question, to give us some more detail, maybe even the segment from the roadmap, or from the maturity model, that gives you kind of a definition of like what you're asking. And then when you choose something, a link back to like, oh, I click this and this is how I can grow.
Right. Yeah, I wish there was another section maybe at the end too that does that. Like, these are the key things you need to work on, or something else. I know the team consciously chose not to do that, I believe, because of the most important thing was getting the questions right. They spent like a year trying to get the questions right. There was so much, all those meetings were hours and hours and hours. So I think they've done a great job boiling it down. It's so hard to do that because everyone's platform is different. But I like that. Like, this is meant to be a guidepost, right? Cool.
But it
I think
definitely has me going, how to make it better. But anyway, sorry.
Definitely jump in there, give all the feedback, put it in the channel. It's super helpful. And this thing's going to go out at KubeCon. And then from there, we know this is also going to provide feedback back to the maturity model itself. It's already creating the questions has exposed a lot of things that need to be answered in the maturity model. But we are at time. I just want to call that out. I know people probably have to go. Simon, I think you're chomping at the bit to say something.
No, all I was going to say was that the quality of the questions really shines through, because there's a conciseness and yet a level of thought that's come through, and it actually really shows. So, and what I was most impressed with as well is that there's clear gradations between level 1 and level 4 in all of them that I was able to easily identify. So just a shout out to the team on that, because it's a really difficult thing to do. Yeah,
I wish the rest of the team was here to say that. I'll clap for Steve and crew. Awesome. Thanks, Simon. That's killer.
Cool.
All right, Joe. Well, let's go ahead and call it there. I appreciate you guys jumping into that slide. Simon, let me know when you've got stuff to review or need some feedback on for y'all's.
Oh yeah, we published the version for beta. If it's not on GitHub, it will be tonight. So, and published on the site. But we'll be doing a session on that, on the cloud native maturity model on the maintainer day at KubeCon. So
Awesome. If you want to take some time out of one of our calls to present some of that to platform folks or get some feedback, just let me know. Feel free. I think that would be, you can test something before you get on stage, or whatever you want to do. Definitely welcome.
Brilliant. Appreciate it. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, y'all.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Have a, bye.